Friends, this is a fairy tale, the name of which is Husband and Wife in a Vinegar Jog. In a vinegar jog. So the husband and wife, this story starts like this. Once upon a time, there was an husband and wife. They had lived together for ages and ages in a vinegar jug. In the end, they grew weary of it. And the husband said to the wife, "It's your fault that we have to live in this sour vinegar jug." So they were became weary of their situation and they did not want to remain forever in that vinegar jug. And what happened? I wish to God we weren't here. But the wife said, "No, it's your fault." No. So then they began to quarrel between themselves and to wrangle with one another, and one chased the other round. Then the golden bird chanced to come by the jug, and it asked, "What is the matter with two of you?" "Well," said the wife, "we are weary of this vinegar jug, and we would just like to live like other people in freedom. We'd be quite content with that." Then the golden bird let them out of the vinegar jug. They took them to a new cottage with a neat garden at the back and said to them, "This is yours now. From now on, live together in harmony and content." Live together in harmony and content. And if you ever need me, you have only to clap your hands 3 times and call me. Golden bird in sunbeam bright, golden bird in hollow flight, golden bird day and night, and I'll be there. With that, golden bird flew away, and the husband and wife were very happy that they did not have to live in the sour vinegar jug any longer, and they took delight in their neat cottage and green garden. But this lasted only a short while, for when they had been living in a cottage a few weeks and they walked around the neighborhood and they had seen the large and splendid farms there and with big garden fields and many servants and cattle, and they had no longer took any pleasure. Their tiny cottage had grown quite weary of it, and one fine morning the two of them clapped their hands almost at the same and called out, the bird, "Golden bird in sunbeam bright, golden bird in hollow flight, golden bird day and night." Suddenly the golden bird came flying in at the window and asked them what they wanted now. "Oh," they said, "the cottage really is far too small, and we only had one of those large splendid farms. We'd be content with that." The golden blinked a little with his peepers, but said nothing, and it took the husband and wife to a large and splendid farm with many fields. There, in another place, and buyers with the cattle and worker and maids gave them everything. The husband and wife leaped with delight and could not contain their joy, and now they were contented and happy a whole year long, and could not imagine anything. For this feeling lasted no longer, not even a day, for they sometimes traveled into town and saw the beautiful large houses and the beautiful accoutred gentle ladies taking they thought, "Well, life in the town must be marvelous indeed." They thought with themselves, "Let's go and live in a town." So again, and you don't have to do much work much there, and the wife could not take her eyes off the splendor and the luxurious living, and she said to her husband, "We want to live in the town too. You call the golden bird now." So they again called the golden bird. "We have been on the farm quite long enough." But the husband said, "Wife, you call him." In the end of wife clapped her hands 3 times and called out, "Golden bird in sunbeam bright, golden bird in a hollow flight, golden bird day and night." At once The golden bird appeared, flew in the window, and said, "Whatever do you want from me?" "Oh," said the wife, "we are tired of the farmer's life. We would like to be in townspeople and have lovely clothes and live in a large and splendid house like they do, and we'd be content with that." The golden bird blinked again with his peepers, but said nothing, and he took them to the finest house in the town, where everything was decorated with a non-peril finery, and it had wardrobes in which three hung, and chest of drawer which they would lay close after the latest fashions. Now the husband and wife thought there could be nothing better nor finer in the world, and were best themselves with rapture. Unfortunately, this too did not last long. They grew fed up again, and they said to each other, "If only we had it as good as nobles do. They live in magnificent palaces and castles, have coaches and horses, and servants with gold-edged coats stand on the coaches. Yes, now that would be the life. What we have now is a mere miserable trifle." And the wife said, "Now it's your turn to call the golden bird." But for a long time the man would not do this. Finally, as his wife would not cease nagging and badgering him, he clapped his hand 3 times and cried out again, "Golden bird in a sunbeam bright, golden bird in a hall of light, golden bird day and night." Then the golden bird flew in at the window again and asked, "Whatever do you want from me?" And the man said, "We'd like to become nobles and we'd be content with that." But then the golden bird blinked its eyes very sharply and said, "You insatiable people, will you never have enough? I shall make you nobles for all the good it will do you." And he instantly gave them a beautiful and magnificent castle, coaches and horses, and a goodly suit for servant. So now they were nobles, and they went for a stroll every day with not a thought in their head but how pass their days in the happiness and little except what they read the newspaper. One day they traveled to the capital to see a great festival. There were the king and queen sitting in their gilded coach in gold embroidered clothes, and before and behind and on both sides martial courtiers, squires, and soldiers were there, and all the people waved their hats and handkerchiefs when the king and queen drove past. Ah, how the husband and wife's hearts beat with impatience. No sooner were they back home than they said, "Now we must become king and queen." But after that we will stop. And they both clapped their hand and called out at the top of their voice, "Golden bird in a sunbeam bright, golden bird in a hall of light, golden bird day and night." What happened that the golden bird flew in at the window again and, "Whatever do you want from me?" And they both answered, "We would like to become king and queen." But then the bird blinked its eyes dreadfully, ruffled all its feathers, beat its wings, and said, "You awful people, when will you ever have enough? I shall make you king and queen as well, but will not be at the end of it, for you are never satisfied." So now they became king and queen, and they had domain over the entire land and kept a large household. What happened next? That and their ministers, courtiers, and had to fall down in their knee. They describe either. They also had officials throughout the land come to their presence and issued the strictest order to them down from their throne. And This went on, and all that was expensive and exquisite in every lord's land had to be procured until they were surrounded by radiance and a richness behind description. And yet they were not still satisfied and kept saying, "We must become something." Then the wife said, "Let us become emperor and empress." "No," said the husband, "we'll become pope." "Oh, that's not enough," the wife cried in her zeal. "We'll rather be God." No sooner had she finished speaking these words than a mighty tempest came, and a large black bird appeared to them, and with flashing eyes that roared like wheels of fire, flew in at the window and crowed in a voice that shocked the very foundation. "Thou shalt vegetate in the vinegar jug." Crush all the splendor was history, and there sat the two of them. So the husband and wife inside their narrow vinegar jug again. There they are sitting still, and there they remained until the day of judgment. This is a lesson for those who never can have enough. So this is the story of the husband and wife who lived in a vinegar jug. Thank you very much for the patient listening. I hope you will enjoy this fairy tale.